Hello, I'm the producer, Jacob Cook, and Uptalk is a weekly, upbeat, uplifting, forward-looking resource show, offering expert perception and advice on personal growth and development. Uptalk will feature guests with inspiring stories and messages filled with informative, life-changing insights. The delivery of this information is through a blend of common sense and practical application. Uptalk will be a big assist in satisfying the hunger for knowing the path to success. And now to our hosts, Lou Vickery and Jason Will.
Hey, welcome to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery, along with Jason Will. We're so excited you have joined us. Well, we have a great guest today, and we're going to talk a little bit about her, Diana Will. You would know her. You know that lady pretty good, huh?
I do very well.
Yeah?
I can't really go into all those details, but quite well.
I got to tell you a real quick story.
Yeah.
Lee Trevino lived in my neighborhood. Do you know Lou Trevino? You probably don't.
Famous bowler.
No, golfer. He was a famous golfer.
Pretty much the same thing,
Yeah,
but go ahead.
That's right. You can throw. Well, at any rate, Trevino lived in my neighborhood when I lived out near Dallas, okay? And he was out, and he's Hispanic, and he was out more in the yard in a nice neighborhood. And this lady pulled up.
Is this going to be a long story? Or
No. The lady pulled up in a Cadillac, and she rolled the window down, and she says, "How much do you charge?" And he says, "Ma'am, the lady here lets me sleep with her." Zoom.
Oh,
she
that's
was
good.
Gone.
That's good. That is good. That's thinking on your feet right there.
Yeah, well, it is. But he was really a character.
Wow.
We're excited to have your wife, Diana Will, with us today, and she's got quite a story.
She does.
And putting up with you would be even another story.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
But you want to add anything before we go to the interview?
Well, she's also very beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and I'm typically like the show eye candy. Like out of the two of us,
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of like,
Well, I tell you what, you outkicked your coverage.
I
That's for
did.
sure.
I did.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Diana will be joining us on the other side. You stay with us. Wow, welcome back to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery, and we have a very special guest in the house with us. Diana Will, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Lou.
Well, it's exciting to have you here. We appreciate very much you taking time to visit with us.
Of course.
Well, now I want to back up a little bit, and let's just capture a little of your background.
Okay.
How do you got to where you are now, and then we'll talk about what you do.
Great. Well, I got into real estate with Jason a long time ago, and we built our brokerage together, and I was the broker and sort of the backbone and put all of the systems together. And about 2 years ago, I found myself a little unchallenged and decided it was time for a career change. And so I went into mortgage. I decided on mortgage, one, because I love numbers, I love math, and I wanted it to be something that I could still work with Jason and work together with the brokerage and serve them at a higher level. So mortgage was really just a natural fit for us. And I also, through selling real estate for a really long time, saw a void in the marketplace of a higher level of service that we needed in the mortgage world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my goal. My goal was just to serve at a really high level and continue to take pieces off of the real estate agent that I could take onto my side of the transaction so that they could go do more business.
And the name of your company is Movement Mortgage.
Movement Mortgage.
It's got to be a story there behind that name.
I don't actually probably know the story. We don't own the company.
Yeah.
It's based out of North Carolina.
Right.
Been in business for about 10 years. Movement is a newer name. They rebranded just a couple of years ago. I don't know where the name actually came from, but it really, they do a lot in the community, and they are movers and shakers and really just are feet forward in the industry.
Well, I guess if you think about it, they're not standing still, right?
They're not.
There's movement.
There is, and I love that about the company.
That's good. And now tell us a little bit about how you go about your daily chores and what you had to do. And I've often been intrigued by the mortgage business. It's one thing to be able to sell a home, but somebody's got to generally finance it. Most folks can't afford to pay cash for it, right?
That's right, and we appreciate those folks. So just like it is selling anything, it's about, product knowledge and trust. And so what I've found coming into the mortgage industry is that the people that I work with at a really high level in real estate trust me from real estate. And so trust equals capacity. And they just naturally trusted me
Right.
in the new industry, which allowed me to get started pretty quickly. So we got started in mortgage fast and furious.
Right.
So we learned quickly through every file. And so really it's just about trust and doing what you say and, not over-promising and under-delivering, in my opinion.
And you're also a mother.
I'm a mother
Yes.
of 2 amazing kids and 2 amazing bulldogs,
Cameron and Cooper.
Cameron and Cooper. And we've got sister English bulldogs, Nola and Stella. And they're the most high maintenance out of all of my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the way it is, isn't it, huh?
Yes.
We're visiting, and we appreciate Diana Will being our special guest, and thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
What, as you look, do you think if there's one thing that you could put your finger on that creates success in what you do, what would it be? Can you kind of give us a little description of?
Sure. For me, I think it's really about just setting proper expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you do that well from start to finish,
Right.
people trust you. And, setting the proper expectation is also about telling the truth. If you have somebody say, can you close this in 2 days? And I say yes, and I don't close it in 2 days, they don't trust me.
Yeah.
But if I say, no, I can't, but I can close it in 17 days, and my no is really a no, then my yes is really a yes. So I think that, when you can stand firm behind your nose and set proper expectations, it just allows all of the transaction to move smoother and for your relationships to be smoother too.
I've often told in training of salespeople that if the truth limps, it ain't the truth.
That's right.
So that's
I can get behind that.
yeah, and but it's so vitally important
It is.
because I think the integrity part is the thing that maybe we've lacked in the selling profession in the past, but now it's so vitally important because the service end of it has become really a product, has it not?
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at the overall picture of if somebody's out here looking to say, okay, I'd like to have a feel about getting involved in the real estate business or the mortgage business, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
Study hard and jump in, burn the bridge. Just jump in.
Just get there, huh?
Yeah, I think we have so many people that want to get in and they're like, well, I'm going to keep this part-time job.
Right.
And I always, when I talk to people like that, I'm like, the part-time job is like a riptide. In 3 seconds, you're 50 feet out. And you got to fight really hard to get back.
Yeah.
So, I think if you want to make a commission-only career, successful, you just have to jump in both feet and commit to it and not have a plan B.
I want to go back in from the family standpoint. Balancing a family and work, it's not always easy. And I think sometimes us males do not give
No, you don't. No, you don't.
enough credit, right? But talk to us a little bit about how you master that, okay?
Well, it really is a weekly work in progress. Just being intentional about your time and being intentional with your children. So I really try to have my Sundays like as my recalibrate day, just to set my intentions for the week and what the week's going to look like. And I get help. You know, I have somebody that comes and cleans my house because it's
Yeah.
important to me to have my house clean, and it's also important to me not to have to do it on the weekend. So we believe in leverage at our house,
That's
and we're okay with that. And we also believe in chores and allowance, and so we get some help from the little people too. But I think that they should be a part of the
process
ecosystem.
itself,
That's right.
Yeah.
Like the trash just doesn't go out. There's people in my house who think there's like a trash fairy. And we don't have one of those. It's Cooper Will. So Coop's my trash man, and Cam makes the lunches, and you know, we all just kind of pitch in.
Right.
And you know, but you just have to know what's important to you and leverage out what's not, but still needs to get done, so that you can keep your household running smoothly.
Now, I ain't going to really put you on the spot
Oh,
with this
good.
question, okay?
Okay.
There's got to be a story behind your earrings.
There is a story behind my earrings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, I love earrings, and
Yeah.
so I turned 38 years old last week.
Okay.
And
Hold it. A lady is sitting here telling me her age.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud. Yeah. And I hear 40s are even better than the 30s, so
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay.
So we're getting there. But my favorite store in town, I've really just eyed these earrings for probably 4 months, and there's some things I'll spend money on and some things I'm frugal about. And so Jason took Cameron to pick these out, and she was so happy that they still had the ones that I wanted. So she picked them out for me.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Diana Will, our special guest on Uptalk, and we appreciate very much her being with us. What would you like to leave with our audience?
Stay motivated, you know, really focus on your goals and set your intentions, and really that your intentions have to be set really on a daily basis. You know, you have to recalibrate almost every day to stay focused on what's important.
And I love what you said earlier, your expectations. You've got to have some expectations.
Yeah,
don't
set
you?
them early, set them often, and set them honorably.
Right. Helen Keller once said that, you know, it's you can be blind and still have vision. And so, but the vision is what you see out, and you got to see further than your hand, right?
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
We appreciate you coming and being
Thank
with us.
you.
It's been a real pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure being here.
All right, we're going to step aside, take a break, and we'll be back. You're listening to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery, along with Jason Will, and we just had an opportunity to visit with the boss of the family, Miss Diana Will.
Thank you.
Wow. Welcome back to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery, and Jason's back with us. And, you know, I have to tell you this. You may have just out-kicked your coverage a little bit there, you know.
Well, I gotta admit, I hear that a lot. I mean, a lot.
No,
Yeah.
I tell you guys have made a great team.
She's
You're growing it
everybody's
together.
favorite, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely married up.
We spend this time together after our guests, you and I. We sort of recap what our guests have said that might be able to make a difference for our viewers. And so basically, what you got?
You know, it was a pretty short interview, but I got a lot of good nuggets out of y'all's discussion. For anybody that's in sales or selling a product or a service, I thought there was some great insight from this interview. But she started off with saying, you know, to be successful, you need to serve at a high level.
Yes.
And to me, that means, you know, putting your customer over a commission or a sale, you know, putting them first, putting their goals first. And I really think that's an important message for people to hear these days. I don't know about you, but I don't see a lot of people that are dedicated to serving. And it's maybe, and you and I've talked about this before, maybe it's because they don't love what they do and they're just in it for the end result.
Right.
So I thought that was an important point.
Yeah, and a very valid point, because we talked earlier about service. Now, it really is a product. Service is a product. In this day and age, if you're not geared to serve your customer and to be a part of what's going on with the customer as far as being actively engaged, I think, in their life and what they're doing, that's the best way that you're going to keep it for the future too.
Right. Yeah. And I know you're a big proponent of product knowledge.
Right.
And so when she mentioned that, I thought, that's just, hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And it was a combination of those two factors. It was product knowledge and trust. But product knowledge creates trust. If you know what you're doing, you do what you say you're going to do, you're going to develop that trust and that rapport. So I thought that was really, really powerful.
I think it's a great time to mention to our viewers that we have a book available that's really new and has a lot of these great nuggets in it. It's entitled MOTOR-VATORS. It's for salespeople destined for greatness. And we want to make sure that our viewers are aware, and we'll be providing information about where they can get that as we go along. Okay?
Yeah, and so what Diana was saying a lot in this interview just goes right along with the content of the
absolutely.
book. And there's everything in there that you would ever need to know to be massively successful in sales.
Absolutely.
So she mentioned this. I thought it was really interesting. Trust equals capacity. It is a phrase that one of our coaches uses quite often. And so I was excited to hear her mention that during the interview. But basically, what that means to me, and you may have a different kind of interpretation of it, but the more people trust you, the more that your avatar, your target audience trusts you, your sales will grow to the extent that people trust you.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people miss that a lot. And she talked about, one way to establish trust. Obviously, we just touched on product knowledge, but setting proper expectations. I thought that was an interesting point to make.
And there's a corollary that I wanted to mention too when we talk about trust. And the fact is that, you may be able to make a sale. You may be able to just kind of give it away if you got a negotiable product.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to really make have an end result that's in your favor, then you better establish quality trust with a particular individual. And I think the best way to do that is, Jason, when I think about it, is the ability to listen. You have to listen to people. How do you gain trust? You get them involved in the process and you listen to them. I think it's important from a sales standpoint that you talk little and say much.
Yeah.
And one of the best salespeople I've ever met, he geared his whole presentation to asking questions. That's all he did. He'd ask, well, what do you think about it? What did you do? He used the who, the what, the when. It went right down the list. And he was one of the best I've ever seen. And his results showed that. He even had people working for him way back. That's before. Now it's kind of common. But he had people actually working. In fact, he had his whole family employed with him.
Yeah, I just see a lot of salespeople missing that mark. They're talking too much. They're talking over people.
Right.
So I think that it's an incredible advice. Asking great questions and then listening.
That's it.
So really, really key.
We can. Let me make one other
Yeah.
point about that. We can hear. We always hear things, but to listen, it goes to a different level. Because listening, then that's when you process it, and then when you respond in kind.
Right. Well, it's interesting. She said one of the final things she talked about was, like her keys to success. The first thing she mentioned was study hard. And it's this preparation, it's this market knowledge. I tell my salespeople, like, they really are getting a PhD in market knowledge.
Right.
Not only what's going on with rates and comps and values and all that, but what's the mortgage, what's the title process, all these things kind of go in hand. What's the school system like, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So study hard. I think people are so focused on the sale that when that opportunity presents itself, they miss it.
That's it.
Because they're not prepared.
Yep.
So I loved it, the fact that she said that. But, this is the one, when she said burn the bridge, I think too often people have a plan B. And it's like, if I'm not, they're assuming failure.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't make it, then I'll go back to doing this.
Right.
And especially in the world of sales where it's highly competitive, you've got to burn the bridge and go all in.
Got to make a decision. If you can't, it's awfully difficult to get somewhere if you got one foot in the air all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you got to plant that sucker on the
Right.
ground and keep moving, right? All right. Anything else we need to mention before we
Well,
go to
she
break?
did throw me under the bus for not doing chores. So I would like to say that I do occasionally do some chores. So just
Okay.
for the record, just to kind of, I didn't get
But
a chance to
don't you
retort.
know, from a standpoint, a male standpoint, we never do enough. So that's just part of the territory.
Yes, that's probably true.
All right, you listen to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery along with Jason Will. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back. You stay with us. Well, we're so excited that you've been with us today. And, we're going to take to visit with Jason. And Jason always has some great insight. He's a renowned trainer, also a great developer of people. And we're going to now get a tip from Mr. Jason Will. Jason?
All right, well, thanks so much, Lou. Right now, I want to share with our audience a proven strategy for building a high-performance team. Now, the difference here is that there's a lot of teams out there that are teams in name only. But the goal here, especially with these strategies, is to build a high-performance team. And I've kind of broken these down into 5 steps for our audience, so hopefully I won't go too fast. They can follow along. Step number 1 is very simple, but it's often throws people off, because when you say, I need you to recognize there's an I in team, they go, wait a minute, where is that I in team? Well, the I in team is not in the spelling per se, but it's more in the personal responsibility that a player or a member of a team must accept in order for the team to have a chance to be a high-performance team. So in terms of an I in team, it's all about personal responsibility. Now, step 2 is a nice little segue into that, the power of I am. So there's no greater responsibility than a statement that begins with those 2 powerful words. And I would argue that they're 2 of the most powerful words that anybody can say. It's speaking power over themselves, over their life. So it is a life-giving statement. Anything that starts with I am. And it can really be the game changer, especially for the example that you set for your team. Now, what I'm looking for, especially in the business world, is for my salespeople to have a CEO mindset. And CEO does not stand for Chief Executive Officer. It stands for Chief Example Officer. I know you'll like that, Lou. Chief Example Officer. So a game changer or a Chief Example Officer is the role model, is the best role model they can be for their team. So if we go back up to steps 1 and 2 and start talking about how there's no I in team, if we don't accept personal responsibility for our role, our example on the team, then the team is not going to be a high-performing team, and it's not going to be as successful as it can be. So there is absolutely an I in team. All right, step number 3, I want you to focus on the outcome. I think before a lot of people get started on the path to success, they're not focused on the outcome. They don't know what they really, really want. They don't know what the objective is, what the ultimate goal is. And so in order for you to be successful, you have to be focused on what exactly it is that you want to accomplish. So focus on the outcome. Now, in order to be focused on the outcome, you cannot be focused on your personal agenda. Okay, so it's not about, you got to remove ego from this process. It's not about, your claim to fame. It's about the team. But again, we have to be personally responsible to how we are affecting that team and what we are projecting to the rest of our teammates. So there absolutely is an I in team. Step number 4, I want you to trust the process. Now, in order to trust the process, you've got to be in the moment. Okay, so let's talk about this, Lou. Have you ever climbed a mountain?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
course he has. All right, so if I have heard that like Sherpas, if anybody wants to climb Mount Everest, the first thing a Sherpa will tell you to do is don't focus on the mountaintop. You need to focus on the few inches, every little step. The people that focus on the mountaintop, they're likely to have an accident and screw up. So be present in every moment and focus on what is going on right in front of you. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. And step number 5 is one of my favorites because it really centers around mindset. And I really believe that mindset is everything. But it's thrive in the chaos. Now, I'm in the real estate industry, but I believe most sales environments can be highly stressful. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot riding on every sale, especially if you're in an industry like mine where it's 100% commission-based compensation. So I want you to understand that you can absolutely thrive in that chaotic environment, in any chaotic environment, if your mindset is where it needs to be. Now, this is going to be enlightening, I think, for a lot of folks, but I need you to understand there is no such thing as easy street, okay? And as Dr. McCullough pointed out, I mean, you can't do anything halfway. You can't do just enough. I mean, you've always got to be besting your best in order to thrive in this chaotic arena we call life. So really focus on the mindset of this one, I think, irrefutable fact is that there is no such thing as easy street. In fact, if you did not choose the tough road, then your life is going to be hard. So I really feel like in order to thrive in the chaos, we have to understand that there are 2 choices in life. We can either choose to be tough or we can choose to suffer. So it's suffering versus tough. What are you going to choose? If you're taking the easy way out all the time or the easy straight or just trying to do just as much as you can to get by, your life is going to be about suffering because you will know internally that you're not living up to your true potential. And there will be guilt associated with that and shame and bitterness. And it's just going to eat you up from the inside out. And I think Lou would agree that if we are not growing, any organism that is not growing and evolving, it's dying. All right? So choose the tough road. And choosing the tough road means consistently being comfortable being uncomfortable. Lou, those are my steps, my 5 steps on how to build a high-performance team.
Hey, it's been quite a day, Jason. We had your lovely bride. It was great having her with us, and you doing your thing as always. You do good.
All right.
Yeah.
My thing. Okay.
Whatever
all
that
right.
thing was.
Whatever it is, I do it.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, so we're just excited. We're excited.
What am I doing here, Lou?
That's a good question, isn't it? Well, we're done for today. But hey, tell people about the book.
I hope they go out and buy this book. They can get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And they can also go to louvickerybooks.com and
Right.
get this book. But if you are an entrepreneur or even a wantrepreneur, how about that? I just came up with that, Lou. Just
That's
right
good.
then in that moment. Just
Entrepreneur.
poof. Yeah. All right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all kind of stuff in here.
Yeah. We.
That's all I know really about it.
We wrote it primarily for salespeople, but the rules apply to everyone.
They do. I mean,
From a
there's,
sales standpoint.
it's really positive. I mean, you talk about things like having a good attitude.
Right.
Like, what would your life look like if you came to work every day, no matter what you did, with a great attitude, a positive attitude?
Ready to go to work, ready to do your thing.
I mean, how
Well,
different
I
would your
have a
life
great
be?
one-liner. You are your attitudes, and your attitudes are you.
It's just
Does
that
that
simple. This book is full of your one-liners.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's very few of your jokes in here, but there's a lot of your one-liners in here.
All right. Well, you can catch us at uptalktv.com. Check our website out. And, hey, we're going to be back here soon with another great guest, and we appreciate very much you being with us. And Jason?
Will I be back? I'll be back too?
Yeah, Jason will be here, but we want to express our appreciation to Jacob Cook.
Yeah.
Well, he looks like, you know what? He looks like an octopus, doesn't he? He's got more than 2 arms. And until we meet again, keep a smile on your face, keep happiness in your heart, Keep optimism on your tongue. Hey, that's a winning formula.
Great advice, Lou.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Vega, and thank you for watching our channel. I want to take a second to tell you about a resource that's helping thousands of people across the country, Blue University. Blue University is the premier online business school for entrepreneurs and business leaders. You know, if you find yourself in a day-to-day grind where you've lost your joy or you're just tired of struggling, then check out blue.university. That's BLU.university. I can promise that you receive nothing short of a multi-million-dollar education. And if you want a completely different life in 3 to 6 months and a way to create wealth in 5 years or less, then again, check it out. That's BLU.university. Find out why blue is the new color of success. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel or to give us a good rating, but that's only if you see value. And when you do receive value, make sure to share it with someone else. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.